In 1966, Toyota introduced a brand new car to the world. Now, they used the Spanish word for small crown as its name. It became one of the most popular sold cars between the 70s and 80s, so much so that even in 1974, my parents ended up buying one. Here's a pic of my late mom sitting on the bonnet of the brand new car. On the bonnet, can you believe it? It would never fly in today's times. Well, today I get to drive the latest edition of that car. And I think it's probably the most important car in South Africa today.
This is the 12th generation Toyota Corolla. It's a car we see on the roads daily.
So what's so special about this one, you may ask? Well, this is the hybrid edition of the Corolla, and I think it's here to change the game in Mzansi.
This hybrid version is based on the mid-range Corolla XS model. And yes, you may notice the hybrid badging and different style wheels, but under all this metal is where it gets interesting. This car uses a petrol engine and an electric motor, combined with a state-of-the-art battery system, which, well, is better for the environment and will save you lots when it comes to your fuel bill. But more about that later.
What I really like about this car is that, well, Toyota did not try and overcomplicate things. What they did is stick to a winning Corolla formula, which is an easy on the eye, non-overstated, practical design, which has helped them sell over 50 million Corollas worldwide.
Inside, the practical and easy theme continues. Standard is this 8-inch touchscreen. All the controls are laid out nicely. Again, typically Toyota styling. Seating is comfortable and finding your perfect seating position is quite easy.
In the back, well, it's more of what we used to of the Corolla. You can easily fit 3 people in here.
There is ample room in the boot, offering 470 liters, meaning you don't need to compromise on taking extra things with you when thinking of going away for the weekend.
See, this is exactly why I think sedans are better than hatches, and dare I even say SUVs. The space, it just works. Now, there are some shortcomings in this car, and it's purely because of that keep the cost low mantra to ensure that this EV is affordable for normal people like, well, me and you.
It's got hubcaps instead of alloy rims, hard plastics on the door frames, and one solitary USB port up front, and no other charging ports anywhere. So the kids are not going to be happy.
But like we say here in Cape Town, hulle moet maar steek wees.
But it also has some nice standard specifications, which include auto LED head and tail lamps with daytime running lights, keyless entry, power adjustable and heated side mirrors, cruise and climate control, a reverse camera, power windows all around, multi-informational display, and a 3-spoke leather steering wheel with steering controls.
Okay, listen, I must confess, when I initially started driving this car, right, I kept looking at the screen, which has got this awesome infographic on that shows you how the electric motor and the petrol engine, they all combine to charge the battery and when you run into battery. And what I kept doing was trying to keep it into EV in the battery mode for some stupid reason, which kind of then just affected how I drove, which, to be quite honest with you, was pointless because the car doesn't need me to help it to decide on what it's going to do, because it does everything just really, really well. Now, the car's powered by 2 engines. Well, one is an electric motor and the other one is a 1.8-liter normally aspirated petrol engine. Now, combined with a CVT gearbox, it gives you a total of about 90 kilowatts and 163 Newton meters of torque. Now, I know that's not earth-shattering figures to talk about, but that's not what this car's about speed and all that. Okay, let me give you some figures that will make sense to you. Toyota claim that this car will give you 3.5 liters per 100 kilometers on average fuel consumption. Okay, now I've not been driving conservatively. I've been averaging about 4.5 to 4.9 liters per 100 kilometers. And the people who are really, really good at math say that I should be able to get 1,200 kilometers out of a single tank. Now that is figures that, come on, let's admit, is very impressive. Now, there are 5 driving modes in this car. The first 3 is, well, called Eco, Normal, and then Power. Now, Power is, well, just giving you that little bit of extra, you know, get up and go type of thing, which, well, trust me, it really, really works. When you get onto the highways or urban cities driving, it's just very easy in all of those modes. The only issue is that CVT gearbox, which, as you could hear, is a little bit noisy. But I think that's just how CVT works, right? Then there's this mode just simply called B. And that was seen inside of the Priuses from back in the day as well. And literally what that means is that the car just goes or uses what it calls engine braking. I'm going to show you now. So I'm going to put it in B. And what it does is that if you take your foot off the accelerator, the car uses engine braking to, well, slow down. When that happens, it automatically sends and regenerates a lot more power going through to the batteries. Now, it is quite a little bit weird. I mean, you can feel it braking, but to explain it to you, it is almost like when you are riding a motorcycle and when you take your hand off the throttle, you kind of feel how the bike slows down. It's kind of similar to that. I mean, it works really, really well. But yeah, I don't know why it's there, because when you're just driving normally like I am doing now, I am charging the batteries in any case. And then there's EV mode. Now, EV mode is when the car is 100% running off battery in the electric motor. And that works really, really well. But to be quite honest with you, I think that is probably only best suited for when you're sitting in like bumper to bumper peak hour traffic, or maybe driving around a car park inside of a big mall or shopping center. And the reason for that being is that if you put your foot down just a little bit too much, then it just kicks into normal mode. And, well, that is really the mode that I think you should really be in when driving this car. So a little earlier, I made this very, very bold statement saying that this is probably the most important car in South Africa today. I know it's a huge claim, and you're probably thinking, dude, are you mad? What are you talking about? But let me explain. You see, the entire world is moving to EVs. Toyota, for example, has said that come 2050, they will be 100% carbon neutral. Lexus says that they will be at that point in 2025. So all of this is right around the corner from us, which means we as South Africans need to, at some point, gather our heads around about getting into EVs and hybrids. But we have one little problem, and that is this entity called Eskom. And unfortunately, we can't really trust him to, at this present moment, let alone keep the lights on, but then keep our cars going. Can you imagine that? Nope, right? And then there's the issue with, at this present moment, with, recharging points. Currently, you can find most of them only in the major cities. Can you imagine if you have to drive from Cape Town to Johannesburg and then still have to worry about where you're going to stop to kind of charge your car? And that's where this car kind of comes in, and it makes a huge difference, because combined with the petrol engine and the electric engine, well, it charges itself. It's just works in a working cycle. It just does what it does really, really well. So you never have to charge your car. Plus, it's got a range of 1,200 kilometers. So it makes sense. And then there's the price. Now, the cheapest other hybrid comes in at 460,000 Rand. And it is a lot smaller than this car, and the range is not as great as what this one is. This car will set you back 420,000 Rand though, which I know is also not cheap, but I think it's probably the easiest way for us normal South Africans to be able to get into the EV market per se. And then there's obviously the warranties. Now, for example, on this car, you get a 3-year, 100,000 kilometer warranty. You get 6 services or a 90,000 kilometer service plan. And then there's the 8-year, 195,000 kilometer warranty on the battery. Okay, I'm not going to lie. I really enjoy driving this car. It's very comfortable and easy to live with. Look, it's no speedster or roadster, so it's not going to be thrill-seeking craziness that you're going to get. But it is a really good everyday driver, and it's good looking. And if I can sum it up for you, you still get that same surety like my parents did 47 years ago when they bought their Toyota Corolla. That, well, everything's just gonna keep on going right. Toyota. And at the end of the day, it will even save you some money.